Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity.
That was Joe Biden, of course, giving his first speech as 46th President of the United States, one of hope, while calling on Americans to come together tonight. Good evening, and thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Sophie Erber.
And I'm Tim Seaman. Today, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris officially sworn in as President and Vice President, beginning a new chapter in America's history. While
the transition of power has, of course, caused some division, as we know, the former leader of Iowa's GOP says, despite our differences, we are all Americans.
I think that there will be an opportunity for the Republicans in Congress to work with President Biden on some things. There will be opportunities to have principled arguments about some of the things that President Biden and the Democrats want to do. And that's the way it should be. Nothing wrong with that at all.
As you just heard, Mahaffey says there are things that Republicans can agree with President Biden on, including another round of stimulus checks.
We have statements from more lawmakers from the tri-state area posted on our website right now with the address on your screen, SiouxlandProud.com.
A member of the Winnebago tribe and staffer at Ho-Chunk Inc. is joining the Biden administration. Anne Marie Bledsoe Downs will serve as the Deputy Solicitor for Indian Affairs. She's set to lead the legal team in the department at the Department of Interior, and Bledsoe Downs previously had served as a Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy and Economic Development for Indian Affairs.
Well, another day of sunshine and warm temperatures, especially for mid-January in Siouxland.
It was glorious out there today, really was, but it looks like things are changing. Let's check in with meteorologist Marcus Beasley for the update.
Hey, Tim and Sophie. It is a really nice evening here throughout Siouxland. We got up to 52 degrees here in Sioux City today. A little bit cooler than that now, but considering that it is January, warming up into the upper 40s and lower 50s, not bad for this time of year. 52 was your high temperature in Wayne today, 54 in Yankton, 48 in Lamar's, 41 in Storm Lake, and 43 in Spencer today. Overnight tonight, temperatures, they are expected to drop into the mid-20s for most of us. So a chilly night, but again, temperatures roughly around 10 to 15 degrees above average overnight tonight. It does look like tomorrow will be another above average day, but it will be cooler compared to today, and it does look like some colder temperatures move in for this weekend with that chance of snow. Details on that in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Marcus. Now, according to the CDC, the rate of suicides have steadily increased over the past 2 decades, but Sioux City saw a jump in suicide investigations just over the last year, 2020.
KCAU 9 reporter Mallory Smith today sitting down with 2 Siouxlanders impacted by suicide and explains tonight how folks can find support.
In Sioux City, suicide investigations have almost quadrupled in 2020. There were 18 suicides reported that year compared to just 5 in 2019. Josh Jessen lost his friend Travis to suicide just 6 months ago.
You replay thoughts in your head. I think it's easy to think what you could have done differently.
Local therapists are attributing the increase to the difficulties and changes we have been forced to face due to the pandemic. Therapist Leslie Goodrich says you can't always see the signs before a suicide.
Pay attention, because not everybody does have those symptoms aren't obvious. So many suicides, people afterwards will say, I should have seen it. I should have known. You can't know because they hide it so well. You know.
One of her tips for those who may be feeling suicidal: do your best to stay connected with people.
Don't isolate and reach out for help. Help is there. It's not a stigma that you have depression. Like I said, it's really one of the most common illnesses we have in the United States.
I feel there's also a big stereotype about suicide and how it's selfish of the person who takes their own life, when we have to think of it as after the fact that I know it affects all of us in a way because we're still here, but Travis was one of the least unselfish friends, humans, anyone would ever meet.
In Sioux City, Mallory Smith, KCAU 9 News.
The COVID-19 vaccine continues to be distributed to frontline workers, and educators are next on the list come February. Recently, the Sioux City Public School District asked its 2,500 staff members if they would get the vaccine once it becomes available. Superintendent Dr. Paul Gosman telling KCAU 9 that 90% of his staff has said yes, they would. And in an effort to help the distribution run smoothly, the superintendent says that the district has decided to offer vaccine clinics inside their district buildings.
We are going to vaccinate our staff here in our own facilities. We'll do that probably in our 3 high schools, maybe our 3 middle schools, and have our staff travel to a certain location to receive their vaccination.
Gosman says the vaccine is optional for all staff members, and there will be no repercussions if someone should choose not to receive a vaccination. Here's the updated COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland, Woodbury County tonight, surpassing 13,000 total cases. 52 new cases in the past 24 hours, and there are 21 patients being cared for in local hospitals tonight.
In Nebraska, Dakota County with 12 new positive tests today. Meanwhile, in the state of South Dakota, Union County reports 162 active cases. The 7-day positivity rate there for the county more than 17% now. Well, library patrons are now having the option to stream through the library's new digital service. It's called Canopy with a K. The service is available to patrons and has a catalog of more than 30,000 films. But what makes the streaming service different from others like Netflix and Hulu is that it's free to anyone with a library card. We have the full details on our website right now. That is SiouxlandProud.com, or click this story in the KCAU 9 News app. Well, teachers are some of the hardest workers out there, but sometimes they need a little help.
That's right. How is Sioux Falls, South Dakota schools helping out one of its teachers in a big way? We'll share the story coming up.
And overnight tonight, we're going to have chilly temperatures, but it's going to be quiet out there. Tomorrow looks cooler compared to today, and seasonal temperatures return on Friday. Details on all of that after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, meteorologist Marcus Beasley, and sports director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.
Well, there's at least one story that's missed the national headlines today on Inauguration Day, but it definitely is one of those that'll put a smile on just about anybody's face.
That's right. A 4-year-old boy named Kavi wanted to thank the National Guard for protecting his neighborhood in D.C., so he did it with some cookies. This morning, Kavi baked the cookies with the help of his mom and brought them to one of the last checkpoints before the U.S. Capitol, delivering the goodies to the troops in person.
What did you come here to do today?
Make cookies for the soldiers since they protected our neighborhood.
Well spoken. In return, Kavi received an American flag patch from one of the guards, and he's not camera shy too.
No, he's right up front there, and
pretty cool.
Like I say, it makes you smile just a bit. Speaking of our servicemen and women, KCAU 9 is proud to announce the start of a new weekly franchise, Veterans Voices. The first story is set to air Tuesday, February 16th, right here at KCAU 9 News at 10.
Nominations currently open, so if you know a veteran with a story to tell, just email us. The address is there on your screen, veteransvoices@kcautv.com.
If you're watching any of the inauguration today, the images of the Capitol, the sky looked spectacular today. Just an amazing color of blue with some clouds, Marcus. Not bad here either.
I was going to say I would be jealous, but we had the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had really nice weather today. Plenty of sunshine, a lot of that snow melting, and a lot of mud outside my house today with all that snow melting and the top layer of the ground thawing out as well, creating those muddy conditions outside. But it does look like we are going to see those colder wintertime temperatures return in the coming days. So enjoy the nice weather while it's here. Tonight is looking like it's going to be a pretty nice night compared to what we could see this time of year as far as the norms go. Today, side lower to mid-20s for much of next week. So winter, it's not done quite yet. Tim and Sophie?
Yeah, especially with those overnight temperatures. Pretty chilly coming up here soon, so enjoy it.
You can still feel it, that's for sure. Well, a Sioux Falls teacher is excited after the birth of a child, but there's some heartbreaking news she's dealing with as well, as that baby came a month early.
How a school pulled together to help out a newborn with a rare disorder. Coming up next. A second grade teacher in Sioux Falls got some help from her students and fellow teachers after her baby boy was born early and with a rare disorder.
Max Hofer explains tonight.
Rebecca Zangara says that her favorite part about being a second grade teacher at Eugene Field Elementary is being around her kids.
And they're so resilient and they adapt to whatever they have, whatever's given to them.
In April, Zangara and her husband found out they'd be having a child of their own. At her first 20-week ultrasound, they got some unexpected news.
He had kind of like a hand abnormality. So his right forearm is shorter than it should be, and he's missing his thumb.
The baby was also under the 10th percentile for growth. At every following ultrasound, doctors would monitor Zangara's pregnancy. On November 5th, she had to get an emergency C-section, resulting in the birth of her son, Lucas Zangara, a month early.
I didn't get to see him right away because he was extremely pale, ghost-like.
Lucas was taken to the NICU because he was suffering from cardiac and respiratory failure. Doctors immediately began giving Lucas blood transfusions.
That was really hard, being a first-time mom, like not knowing if he was going to make it.
After genetic testing, Lucas was diagnosed with diamond black fan anemia, a genetic condition that was unknowingly passed down from Zangara.
I don't have any anemia problems. I never have my whole life.
Lucas needs to get regular transfusions because he can't make red blood cells that sustain life.
He will need to be given transfusions for the rest of his life.
To help make this easier for her family, fellow teacher and friend Jody Blake helped organize for the Bloodmobile to park in front of the school so students and teachers can donate blood.
You know, it's just, I think, tugging on our heartstrings of what can we do, how can we help, and this is one of her requests that if we would, donate blood. So, yeah, and I think having the Bloodmobile here, I was really excited about that. It just makes it so much easier to donate.
The Bloodmobile is open to staff, students, and their families to donate.
To spread this kind of awareness and just feel that support from my school community and my coworkers has been amazing.
Zangara says that she hopes Lucas will enter remission just like her to avoid future issues.
Again, that's Max Hofer reporting from up in Sioux Falls. Sports is up next, and the Boyden Hull boys basketball team has been one of the state's best this season.
Jake has their secret to success coming up in sports.